What is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you yet another Battlefield 4 discussion video. This one, we've got a ton of things to go over, so let's get straight into it. Hopefully this video does not get too long, because in most of these discussions, I try to kind of summarize the article and pick out some of the important bits. In this one, almost every single paragraph had just so many sentences that had a ton of great information. So I'm going to do my best to pick out all the things that I think stand out much more so than the others. And of course, the link to the article is going to be in the video description down below. So if you guys do have the time to read the full article, it is a pretty lengthy one, but if you've got the time, then go ahead and check that out. But let's get straight into some of the important things. This time, the Road to Battlefield 4 article is on Battlelog. And typically, Battlelog is for the PC kind of guys. Consoles, yeah, you had it, but it wasn't as integrated or required as it was for us PC guys. And for this one, they're really pushing for the console guys to get out of Battlelog what the PC guys have been getting. And they're really wanting to integrate it even into the console experience. And one of the ways that they're doing this that they talk about first is in-game integration. And they state that at any time in-game you can bring up the Battlelog overlay. So this would kind of be like pressing the PlayStation button to bring up like the cross media bar or something like that, or if you're on PC, bringing up the Origin overlay or the Steam overlay, things like that. But it is going to be specific to Battlelog, so that's pretty cool. And then they go on to state that another way they've bridged the gap between Battlelog and the game is with emblems. You're now going to be able to create emblems and take them into multiplayer to show off your style. Create an emblem on Battlelog, and then the next time you join a multiplayer game, you'll see this emblem on both your gun and soldier. They'll even show up on vehicles as you enter them. So this is, we've kind of seen things like that. Specifically, Call of Duty did that. And of course, people like to make a whole slew of perverted images and things like that. So I'm sure DICE and EA, they will have some people that are set to kick and ban, and well, not ban, but penalize people for making vulgar and sexual images and things like that, which sucks to see that some of their resources will be dedicated to idiots out there that do crap like that and waste their time. But hey, that's one of the requirements of being a developer for video games. And this is pretty cool, I guess. It'll be a cool thing for clans. With TG, we'll probably get a TG one going. I'm hoping that you can share them. That's one of the things. If you make these, it would kind of suck to have one design and require everybody in your group or your clan or whatever you want to call it to have to go and create their own, because not everybody is all that artistic. So hopefully platoons or something like that on Battlelog, you'll be able to be a part of it and then just use that platoons one, or at least just have an image that can be uploaded as like a JPEG or something like that, and you can just download it and then upload it onto your own Battlelog via that. That would be pretty handy. Hopefully they do make that process very simple. And then there's this little section a little confused as to exactly what some of it means, but it goes on to say where the magic starts to happen is that Battlelog will now recognize when you're playing the game. I'm pretty sure it was already able to do that beforehand. In fact, for PC, you had to. Alright, so that's kind of where some of the confusion is in, but let's keep reading into this. We've created something called the Unified Game Manager, which will show up on Battlelog as you start playing on PC or console, and will offer you quick access to our game-connected features. And it provides examples such as the real-time loadout, remote joining, which will get covered later in the article, as well as battle screen, which will get covered later. And so that just seems weird. I don't know. I'm guessing that's just what they're calling this overlay, is the Unified Game Manager, so that when you're in game and you bring up the Battlelog overlay, which is the Unified Game Manager, and from there you can make changes to these real-time loadout. I think some of these are going to be mostly for the console guys. I don't know the specifics of it, but what it seems like is that if I'm on my PlayStation or Xbox and I've got like a laptop or a tablet or something like that, you can access that manager there, change the real-time loadout, and the second you save it there, You don't even have to leave the game. You can just stay in game, and you'll see those changes to the loadouts on your console version or PC version. So that's kind of what it seems like that is. And if so, then that's pretty cool that you can make those changes on multiple devices and it be synced across your actual game that you're still currently in and playing. So then it goes into the remote joining aspect. Now this is really cool for both console and PC. The remote joining is another really cool game-connected feature. Perhaps you're playing on a server, but you'd like to join a different one, or you want to join a friend somewhere else. Usually you'd have to exit the game you're currently in, and then search for the next server in the menus. Now you can pull up a list of servers on Battlelog, find the one you want to play on, and press join. It'll put you right into that server. Now that is actually a really, really cool feature. That is going to help to streamline things. The only negative that I see with it, and it is a very small negative, and that's that you'll have a lot of people that are staying in servers that are kind of going to be, but it's only minutes at a time, if even that. Hopefully, the aspect of joining a friend, you won't actually have to search for their server. You could just, bring this up, see the friend is in that server, right-click on them, join, and it puts you straight into their server. So that is actually a really, really cool feature, just as a time saver. Nothing really game-changing, just time saving. That's what a lot of these features seem to be like, is good time savers, conveniences, typical things that you'd see from a sequel to sequel, rather than a whole new series or things like that. So all great features. And then moving on, they go to say another great feature for Battlelog on next-gen consoles and PC. Notice how they do specify next-gen consoles, though, so this might not be on the PS3 and Xbox 360 version. They go to say is Battle Screen, which is the real-time interactive minimap of the game that you're currently playing in. And it's weird that they say minimap, and that's just because, well, it's actually not a mini-map, it's the full-size map. This was one of the things that when they originally showed, I was really scared because I thought people would be using this to just have pretty much like, to be able to see the entire battlefield. Whenever people shoot unsuppressed weapons, you get that little Dorito that shows up on the mini-map or the map, and I thought that this would just give a little too much information to people, to just common players, not just the commander, but all players that have this on their tablet next to them, or second screen on their computer, or their laptop next to their console, just things like that. I thought it was going to give a little too much information about enemies, but you can see in this, and they've got screenshots for a lot of these things, and notice how they do all say work in progress. Everything here is a work in progress. It could change, and you'll see that on that little screenshot, it only shows friendly information. It's got the, it's got the line showing where the squad should go to this objective. It's got some friendly markers on there and some vehicles and things like that. And it's got the objective circles. You got the Alpha, Bravo points and things like that. And then the actual physical makeup of the map. But it doesn't actually have any enemies tagged, which is cool. Hopefully it'll stay that way. And that enemies, even when they shoot, unless they were actually spotted or something like that, but if they just shoot unsuppressed weapons, they don't show up that way. You don't see constant little Doritos all over the map, and that you can tell exactly where enemies. That would just give you way too much information on flanking. Flanking needs to be a very tactical. You need to be able to read your opponents, not literally just look over here and be like, oh, there's 5, 6, 7 Doritos over here. That means the bulk of their team is... Alright, so let's just easily flank. I feel like this just gives you way too much easy access of information, which kind of removes some of the skill in reading your team and things like that. So hopefully that tool does not become too powerful. Then they go on to talk about the Geo Leaderboards, and this is actually a really interesting thing. I know a lot of people love to brag and things like that, and this Geo Leaderboard sounds like it is going to satisfy that urge to brag to all your friends really, really well. And I like how when they talk about this, they said that they were very influenced by arcades. Back in the day, you could go into the local arcade and things like that, and you could see the common initials that were always on the leaderboards for certain games. And it was a really cool thing, especially if you didn't actually know that person. It was just kind of an anonymous, you go in there the next day and now you're number 2, and, Mr. JRT is first place again and beats you. It just kind of had this rivalry that formed. So I'm glad that that's where they were drawing the influence. So let's see what they say about it. It says, you can try to be the best assault player in your city or the best reviver. You can also go for getting the best personal record in your town. A personal record is getting the best score in a single round in some category. It could be something like getting the most kills, the best score, or even destroying the most vehicles. So I thought that was cool that they also have these two different categories. You could just have the overall highest assault score, or the highest assault score in one specific round. So that's really cool that they break it up as to your lifetime record and then your personal best record for a specific round. That's really cool, so you can see who are. I mean, you could see that one personal round, and that could just be a freak accident. Maybe you joined a server and it was full of people that were all ranked 2, but then you look at their lifetime record and you can tell, oh, okay, this guy might have just gotten lucky for that one round. So it was really cool that they added both of those distinctions in. So that's pretty cool. Geo Leaderboards, really looking forward to that and seeing who around me physically in my town. Maybe I don't know how close it'll go, but maybe even down your street. Obviously, you don't want people stalking and things like that, but that will be really, really cool. And then it goes on to say, and EA has done this before already with Battlefield 3. They drew in the animation system from some of their EA titles and things like that. A lot of the games now with EA are using the Frostbite engine, so they're really doing a good job of this. And that's right here. They draw from one of their sports titles. Again, it says players will be divided into divisions, inspired by FIFA's seasons system. All players on a leaderboard are divided into 10 divisions, depending on your skills and ranking in a wide range of areas such as KD ratio, score per minute, and more. This stretches across each level of Zoom, city, state, country, and world in the Geo Leaderboards as well, so you might be in Division 1 in your city, but only Division 3 in the world. You'll be notified in-game, and you'll see a screenshot that actually shows you in the top right of the image. It has a tiny little thing that says, you've been placed in the lead for this challenge, this leaderboard aspect. So yeah, you'll be notified in-game when you make the jump from one division to the next, giving you an even better idea of how you stack up to the other players. I hope that isn't too distracting. I already get a little annoyed whenever you rank up and unlock things. They put these things right up in front of your face, and it's like right where you're wanting to aim, and it can get very distracting. That's kind of the COD effect. People like that instant gratification. So having these things being up in the top right, I'm really glad that they put them up there. I just hope that there's not a lot of sound effects that happen with it, not a ding or anything, or if there is, that you can toggle that on and off, because I am one of those players. I really like to use my 5.1 surround sound, or 7.1 actually, for my headset, and listen for footsteps and gunfire and the types of gunfire. I want to be able to know, looking at my friends, I can see, okay, these guys are using these guns, and now all of a sudden I hear this G3. It has a very distinctive fire sound, so I can tell that, oh, that's an enemy. So hopefully we can turn these types of sounds off. Fingers crossed. And then moving on, these missions, they go into the mission section where you can have these player-created missions. They go on to say that these missions are always round-based, meaning each round is its own separate attempt to get the best score. While you're setting up your mission, you can choose which map should be used for the mission. You can also pick any map and the amount of attempts, aka rounds, to choose for the mission, and you have an option for unlimited attempts. Then you have 48 hours. So this seems like that's the you cannot change. You have 48 hours to complete and claim victory. Set a mission on Friday, and you'll have the weekend to try to be the best amongst your friends. And then it goes to say you'll get a notification on Battlelog when you're invited to one of these missions, when in the lead of that mission has been taken from you, or you'll be notified when someone else wins, or yourself. Notifications will be shown on Battlelog and all devices, including in-game notifications and even push notifications on mobile. So that's pretty cool. Again, they're really going for this whole implementation among all the different platforms and integrating everything into one giant Battlelog program, or system, or feature, or whatever you want to call it. And that right there is pretty much all of the things that are covered. Again, there is a whole lot more. I mean, I've been talking pretty fast, and this is up to 14 minutes, so there's a ton more content in there. Nothing really, again, stands out as much, but still some great little tidbits of information. And then I do want to say, though, at the very end, they go on to say probably the most important sentence, and I'm going to read that sentence. That is why we've spent a lot of time building a shared web-based technology platform for Battlelog on all devices, as it will allow us to work faster, bring more features to the table, and deliver more frequent updates. That last little bit right there, deliver more frequent updates. Very excited to see that. I know that for Battlefield 3, the system set up in place for updating games for things like, Xbox Live really hurt this. That's why they resulted to just leaving their patches whenever DLC came out, because it cost a lot. And that is changing for the next generation consoles, and therefore PC. I mean, it's just PC. You update PC whenever. Just look at games like Minecraft and Warframe and stuff that receive updates daily and weekly. So really, really excited to see this. They go on to say we will actually be able to update Battlelog in-game without the need for downloading and installing any patches. So this is just awesome. I cannot wait. Go ahead and you guys check out the article. Look at some of the images, even though I've linked to kind of showed the small versions of them here in the video. Go and look at them in their full resolution that DICE provided on that Battlefield blog article, and look at all the different things on the screens and take in all the good stuff. You'll see on one of the ones, you'll see that there are now service stars for commanders, so that's really, really cool. And then there's one sentence again in there towards the very end. I'm actually going to do an entire video dedicated to that, just because it's a kind of a philosophical approach to video game design, and I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see the sentence that they put in there. So look forward to that philosophical kind of talk coming up soon in another video. I've already talked way too much. This is a very long video. Hope you guys have enjoyed the discussion though, and the gameplay going on there in the background. Please post any comments, questions, concerns you guys have. I honestly don't think you could have many concerns. This is a great article, and then once again, it's just furthering my anticipation for this game. It's going to be one of the best shooters of all time, in my opinion, if not the best. It's got high competition with Battlefield 2142, so hope you guys have a good one. Ta-ta.